We've all been there, right? Mindlessly scrolling through online stores, maybe for hours. But have you ever really stopped to look at the page itself? Not the product, but the whole structure around it? Well, today, we're going to do just that. We're pulling back the curtain, using one single product page as our specimen, and we're going to dissect the hidden machinery of the digital storefront. Let's get into it. So, here's our subject, a furniture dolly. And right off the bat, we hit the first piece of the machine, the title. Just listen to this mouthful. That's not a name, it's practically an essay. It's absolutely stuffed with every keyword you could possibly imagine. Heavy duty, 1500 lbs, sofa, refrigerator. This isn't really written for a human to read. No, this is a signal flare shot into the sky for the search algorithm, just screaming to be found. And believe me, it's just the first layer of a very, very complex onion. All right, first up, let's decode that core pitch. This is the obvious stuff, right? This is everything the page is explicitly telling you to convince you that this thing, this dolly, is the answer to all your heavy lifting prayers. But look closely at how it's framed. The page isn't just listing features, it's translating those features into benefits. It's trying to answer that one question that's in your head: what's in it for me? So it's not just a dolly, it's a complete set. It's not just steel, it's high-quality carbon steel that they promise won't deform. You see, every single bullet point is a tiny little sales pitch, designed to knock down any hesitation you might feel. And here's where it gets really clever: simplification. I mean, moving a giant refrigerator sounds awful, right? It sounds hard. But look at this. The page breaks it down into 5 simple, almost ridiculously easy steps. Lift, place, lock, repeat, move. It magically transforms this huge, daunting task into a simple weekend project. It makes the purchase feel less like buying a tool and more like buying an instant solution. Okay, so that's the direct pitch. But honestly, the really powerful work, the stuff that really gets you to click buy, it's happening just beneath the surface. Let's move on and look at how this page builds trust, how it gives you an invisible handshake without ever actually saying, "Trust me." And this right here is absolutely crucial. You're not just buying the thing on the left, the dolly. You're buying into the promise on the right: secure transaction, free returns, and the big one, ships from Amazon. These aren't product features, they're anxiety reducers. They're all designed to make the whole deal feel completely and totally risk-free. It's the digital version of a firm, confident handshake. And then there's this little gem. On the surface, yeah, it's a discount, but it is so much more than that. It's a powerful psychological trigger. It creates this little bubble of exclusivity, this feeling of being in the in-group. It reinforces the value of your Prime membership, making you feel smart for having it. And hey, if you're not a member, well, it's a constant, nagging little whisper saying, hey, you should probably join the club. Let's peel back another layer, shall we? Because in today's world, it's often not enough for a product to just be good. It also has to be, good. And the page knows this. It has a whole other set of signals designed to check all the boxes for the modern, socially conscious shopper. Now, you might scroll right past this and not think twice, but for a certain type of customer, this is a huge green flag. This Climeco certified badge is a third-party validator. It basically says, hey, we did the ethical homework for you. It gives you a shortcut to feeling good about your purchase without you having to do any of the tedious research yourself. And check this out. Here, a simple logistical detail is completely reframed as an environmental win. What is basically a cost-saving measure for the company, not having to put a box inside another box, is presented to you as a noble choice to avoid unnecessary packaging. It lets you feel like you're participating in a green initiative with literally zero effort. And just to really hammer the point home, bam, they hit you with a massive, impressive number: 2 million tons. A number so big it's hard to even picture, but its purpose is crystal clear: to make your tiny choice, getting this one dolly in its own box, feel like it's part of some huge positive global movement. It's another way of saying you're on the right team. So we've got the sales pitch, we've got the trust signals, and the virtue signals. But there's one final incredibly important job this page has. It's not just a destination, it's a hub. It's a node in a massive digital maze, and its main goal is to make sure you never ever find the exit. Just think about all those carousels you always scroll past. Customers who viewed this also viewed similar brands, sponsored products. These are not just helpful suggestions, my friend. This is the architecture of a retention engine. Every single one is an off-ramp that leads you right back onto the same highway. If you don't like this dolly, fine, here are 10 more just like it. Just whatever you do, don't leave the store, just visit another aisle. And here we have one of the oldest tricks in the book, social proof. Seeing that this is the #2 bestseller in dollies taps right into our basic human instinct to follow the crowd. It tells us, hey, thousands of other people already made this choice, and they were probably right. It's a mental shortcut that just whispers, don't worry, you're making the popular choice, which means it's the safe choice. So there we have it. We've dissected the pitch, the trust signals, the virtue signals, and that sticky retention web. This is what it means to be an informed shopper today. It's about seeing the code behind the curtain. But sometimes when you look this closely, you start to see the glitches, the moments where the code just kind of breaks. As I was digging through all the product details for this thing, way down at the bottom of the page, I found something odd. Something that absolutely does not belong. A weird little fragment of data that tells a whole different story about how these systems work. Yep, you heard that right. According to the fine print, this 1,500-pound, heavy-duty carbon steel furniture dolly is a marble and a choking hazard for kids under 3. This is just a perfect, hilarious example of a ghost in the machine. It's a stray piece of data, probably from a sloppy copy and paste job, that totally reveals the automated and sometimes deeply illogical nature of these giant systems. And that brings us to the real takeaway. When you strip away all the images and the fancy words, a product page is a machine. It is a finely tuned engine of persuasion, built from keywords and promises and psychological nudges, all designed for one single purpose, to convert your attention into a sale. But the good news is, now you can see the code. You have the toolkit. The next time you're shopping online, you'll be able to see all the layers. You can spot the pitch. You can recognize the invisible handshake. You can identify the virtue signal, and you can see the web that's trying to keep you there. You can see the machine for what it really is. And that really leaves us with one final question. Being a smart consumer these days isn't just about finding the best price. It's about understanding the psychology of the digital space itself. So, now that you can see the architecture behind the storefront, how is that going to change the way you navigate the store?